Back for years, Black Men United has served the Omaha community with its food pantry and volunteer work.
Now, as John Chapman reports, the organization wants to help small businesses by adding a city in Ghana to Omaha's list of sister cities.
Earlier this week, Black Men United held its second annual Doing Business in Ghana meeting at the Greater Omaha Chamber.
It's about collaborating, networking, and building economic development between Africa and Omaha.
President and CEO of Black Men United, Willie Hamilton, has made a couple of trips to the African nation, working to make connections. Hamilton says working with Ghana just makes sense, and the connection could help small business.
We got some small businesses here. We got some small businesses that's doing business over in Africa. How can we get together, bring in the right people to really grow this? This is a win-win situation for Omaha, Nebraska.
Representatives from Ghana had an opportunity to talk to President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber, Heath Mello. Mello says the chamber is always looking for business opportunities.
International engagement, international business is part of what Omaha does. It's part of what the Greater Omaha Chamber does. It's important for our local economy, but it's more important for our businesses. It creates relationships, it creates new global markets, and it's something that we need to do more of as a region.
Mello says recently during Berkshire Hathaway weekend, the chamber hosted meetings with international investors,
where we had investors from Ireland, from Canada, from Denmark, all coming in to have a similar conversation about trade and international investment, how we do international business deals here in Omaha.
Hamilton says Ghana is one of the largest U.S. export markets for goods in Africa, and he believes Omaha should continue to work towards building a relationship with the West African country.
It's building that recognition that we have to have among each other and building trust. So I think it's imperative that we do that and we start taking people back and forth to Africa.
On your side in Omaha, I'm John Chapman, 6 News.
Hamilton hopes there will be more meetings between the African country and Omaha. He also hopes to travel to Ghana again sometime this summer.